Hey everyone, I'm going to start doing a collaboration with Tesla Tracker available on X, as well as the Great Mattsby available on X. These are two really, really good accounts, especially when it comes to your TA needs, when it comes to Tesla. Really anything with the Great Mattsby, like he's able to use Gantt theory, he's able to use moving averages, Ichimoku Cloud, a lot of things to really look at a lot of different things. And then here's me, so you got two men and a cat. I think Tracker would like to call us the triumvirate. I suppose I would go with that name. And also, just want to mention that Great Matsby also has a YouTube channel. I'm also going to put the link down below. Anyway, enjoy.
Let's see here. I want to actually start with this is the chart I've been working with for the last.
Yeah. Woof.
mm, I know, right? It looks like Charlie Day from.
Hi, hi, everybody. Hey, this is a collaboration. We got Matt here and we got Tracker here, and
Hi guys.
Tracker's currently showing his screen, and
My
I'm
my
looking at
my
the.
Charlie Day chart, right? Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and he goes on to explain his crazy conspiracy theories, and it's
Where's
just like this
Batman?
wall
Where's
full of.
Joker? No,
Yeah.
anyway, it's okay.
There's no
So,
Joker on this chart, but I do have a little happy face.
So we do want you to kind of share with us your current thoughts in terms of what's happening. We're gonna need help navigating with this chart here.
Oh, I know. It's a lot of stuff going on here. Basically, if you go way back to when Cat was looking at a very simple version of Tesla
Yeah.
here, and we had basically identified like this pattern, like these three highs and these three lows, and this dive down, kind of matched up with these three highs and then these three lows, and then how far will this dive be? And that was like in I think it was December of 2023, and I looked at it, it's like, this really does look like a fractal of this. This one here is a fractal of this one, and so I've been kind of going off of that. And so after I thought about it in December, and then it was like February 4th is when I actually came up with. I posted it. You know, my chart's predicting that Tesla would bottom at 180. Sorry, 143.89. And all I did was I did a ratio of let's see here. This is in this way.
No, I gotta say you turn out to be right. Like the mini me fractal was
Yeah,
ultimately
like
right.
here, like matches up with
Yeah,
these. And then I just did I measured from this height to here, and then I did a ratio from here to here, and then I just extrapolated from here to here, and then there, and then solved for where is this going to be, and that's where I got uh,
yeah.
143.89. And I just I have no idea what the timing with my Elliott wave charts. I just said, it kind of looks like maybe on my birthday would be kind of fun. So March 22nd was my birthday. I said, all right, I think we'll hit 143.89 on my birthday, March 22nd. And as it turns out, I was off by 1 month
It's
and
pretty
about
close.
$5 because it was April 22nd. It hit
Yeah.
138.80. Um,
It's really precise though. Like alien waves, you can't really necessarily time it correctly, but you basically did like all the Fibonacci levels. You got the number really, really close.
it was really cool that. And then
Yeah.
of course, then now I kind of feel like today. Let's go back over this chart that looks a lot simpler.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So maybe I could have just started with this one, but basically I kind of dropped the ball after guessing the bottom, and I didn't think about extrapolating this part. But
Yeah.
now today, well, back to this chart again. So getting in a lot closer. This is a lot closer. Because here's the 420 high. Sorry about the price ratio here. Then the 300 high, the 299.29 high. And then getting in here, this was all Fibonacci ratios I was trying to do. It's funny, I never used to put GAN stuff on here until I started following Mattsby.
Yeah, now you're doing a lot again.
And now I'm trying it out. I mean, I haven't taken his course. I I'm
I don't
just
like
kind
how
of
your
winging it.
your game's pointing downwards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
this
not
one,
sure about a negative GAN there, but we'll talk about that later.
it kind of works.
It kind of does, but it shouldn't be relied upon. It's supposed to be meant for growth, not for decline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but because you can
Yeah.
flip any chart any direction, I
That's
figured
true.
why
Yeah,
not
yeah,
try it
that's true.
this way? And you can see there's
Yeah.
sort of like this arc association here,
Yeah,
and then it
Yeah.
follows the
yeah,
45, and
yeah.
then some arc association here,
That's so nice that it lines
and
up together. Yeah.
yeah, and then so I okay, I feel
So
like
so
I feel like I'm making my turn take too long, but off of the this thing's in the way, off of this 198.87 high that we hit,
yeah.
after hitting the low 138.80. I said, well, this is going to retrace. How much is it going to retrace by?
Hmm.
And at first I thought, maybe 50% or so.
Hmm.
Um, where are my fibs? They're off the screen here. Oh, here we go. And in fact, that's kind of what we got. We got a 50%, a near
Yeah,
50% retrace right
yeah.
here, and then back up. And I measured this. It's a one. We used to talk about 618s. This is a
Yeah,
1618
yeah,
for the B wave up that we got now.
yeah.
But I really thought I was looking. I usually do a here. I'll just do it again off of the 138.80 low up to a near 200 high.
Yeah.
I usually do a 382.236.618, and then possibly optionally 764. Let me just turn these off for this one. And yeah, my charts get real busy because I just have my brain is just kind of nuts. And I'm used to this kind of chaos.
Crazy
Uh,
is relative.
yeah, thank you. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So I was expecting off of the 100%. I'm sorry. And then of course, this is upside down. So I was expecting off of the high here to get
Yeah.
382, 236,
Hmm.
and 618. It did not go to 618. It
Hmm.
stopped at the 50%, and then I was kind
Hmm.
of confused.
Hmm.
And I thought, well, it's just going to run up a little bit and then come back to the 618.
Hmm.
And then I started tracking this triangle here. And then I do, it's one of the things I have this novel technique that I'm self-taught. And I usually, when I see price moving in one direction
Hmm.
and then it suddenly moves against the trend, I start drawing these little triangles here
Hmm.
where you used to have the top of a resistance trend,
Yeah,
and then the bottom of a support
yeah.
trend, and then the next point establishes the actual trend
Hmm.
for the resistance. The next point after that establishes the next point for the support. And then when you get towards the end of the triangle, what happens is you've got an established support trend, but then it breaks the support. Let's see. So
Hmm.
it'll be up here. It'll go like that, that, and then it'll come down. It'll break the support and come back up, and then break it
Go
again,
to
even harder. And then so everyone's like heads are swiveling around and
yeah,
freaking out. And then price runs back up. And you know what?
yeah.
I'm doing it backwards. I'm sorry. This is a bullish triangle. So from here to here, and then there, and then it would go up, up,
Hmm.
down, down, and then it exits.
Hmm.
And so you get one touch, two touches. This ends up being the third touch. The second one here is higher. And then the fourth touch is this one is usually lower, or it
Hmm.
could be the same level, but just farther out in time. And then it exits on this fifth move. It actually does break the trend.
Hmm.
It goes up higher. So because I was tracking this triangle, before it did all this, let me get rid of all my mess here. This is the triangle I was expecting. So I
Hmm.
thought we'd go here, here, down here, up, down, down, and that we'd at least get to the 618.
Mhm.
And then possibly, I was even looking at the 764
Yeah.
or the 152.98. So I've been calling to my followers 160, 175 for the last week
Mhm.
practically. This happens today. You're like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? So I did some soul searching and I went back into my sort of a cleaner chart. I just looked back at this whole pattern again. I said, well, you know what? I did so good tracking this fractal on the bottom.
Yeah.
Why can't I use it to try to get this action right here, the ABC? And
Mhm.
so that's what I did. I put these fibs on here and I said, well, a 100% move up to here, and then, or I'm sorry, from the bottom retracing. Actually, I'm sorry. I simply just measure these fibs.
Yeah.
So from the bottom to the top
Yeah.
is 100%, and
Mhm.
then it stopped at 58.6%. I measured it out,
Mhm.
and then ran back down to 25.6%, and then on up. And so then I just put the same ratios here,
Sure.
58.64% for 199.39, and we went to
Yeah.
what, 198.78, or I'm sorry, 198, yeah, 78.
Yeah.
And then it would have gone down to 165.25 next. We're not there yet,
Yeah.
but it did do this little, these are 1 week candles, by the way, for anyone
Yeah.
watching. This goes up and then down. And of course, I tell my followers all the time, price never moves in a straight line. It's always going to
Yeah.
bounce around and around. And so then I looked at the chart in between the A and the B here. Oh, lo and behold, it does go down and then up a lot and then down again. And so I measured that.
Mhm.
53.8% for how far this comes up in the middle.
Mhm.
And then that extrapolates to, sorry, let me just, that extrapolates to 194.39. So we could
Yeah.
see this if history rhymes again,
Yeah.
then 194.39.
So it,
And then 165.25,
yeah.
which might just turn out to be the 161.
I I
25.
actually like your levels. I'm going to show you here in a second too. I think
Sure,
it might still hit 200 and then get rejected, and then it might go down to the 160s. I can show you why in a little bit.
sure, we can look at that just about next. The only thing that
Yeah.
everyone kept asking me about the shareholder vote. I got so many DMs about the shareholder vote and
Yeah.
people talking
Yeah.
about it. I'm like, well, I don't
Yeah.
worry about that stuff because I
Yeah.
really just ascribe to, like, I follow the chart. I don't think about the news, but
Yeah.
I kind of am getting the sense now that the pattern that I was looking at is starting to elongate and then kind of the price moved up to buy itself more time before going
Yeah.
down here.
Yeah.
And it's because of this shareholder vote coming out. Everyone, so it is really, it's percolating into the sentiment, and people are really unsure about it. And so that's why volume is sort of
Yeah.
decreasing somewhat, and then volatility is increasing,
Yeah.
and we're getting these wilder and wilder swings. And then by moving, you're all the way down here. It didn't have to go very far to get to 165.25.
Hmm.
But it ran all the way back up here to just extend the
I
actual
yeah,
test
I think it's still
until
possible.
the
Yeah.
shareholder vote on
Yeah.
June 13th.
Yeah. It's still
All right, I'm
possible.
going to stop sharing my screen and let's let you show me yours.
Well, if you want to go, Kat, since it's
Yeah,
directly
no, I mean,
related to what you wanted to
I
talk
can kind
about.
of follow
Yeah.
up. Yeah, I can kind of follow up on that. Let me go ahead and share mine. So, um, yeah, so the whole idea is I think all of us are in the same boat, like in terms of our thought. We don't really pay that much, stake in terms of the news, because I think usually a lot of times these things are more or less kind of priced in. A lot of people in the background, they might already know a lot of things, and they already, so I think all three of us are in the same boat. Like we just look at patterns, we try to figure out what the big monies are doing, we try to figure out what history might be repeating, things like that. So I'm showing you here is a 2 week chart. Initially, before I was able to get a membership on TradingView, I could not show the 2 weeks. I was looking at the monthly. I was stuck looking at the monthly and the weekly, and both of those broke down. Like there was a potential that, when you're trying to bounce through the cloud, there's potential for it to kind of bounce up, right? On the weekly and also the monthly, there was a potential for it to bounce on the bottom of the cloud and just keep going up, right? So that was my theory, but obviously both of those end up, not turning out well on the monthly. It broke down on the weekly, it broke down, right? And right now it's kind of back testing a little bit. On the 2-week chart, though, it tells like a really, really beautiful story in terms of what's been happening that I was not able to see until I was able to unlock the 2-week chart, which basically tells you that yeah, you have the support right there, have a breakdown, back tested it, got rejected, back tested it again at the top of the cloud, got rejected, 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 right? So this is kind of what I'm seeing here so far,
At
and
prom date.
yeah, it's telling a very, very
Rejected, rejected.
yeah, it's like
But
it's like high
your
school all over again. Anyway, so
your
it's like,
your conversion line though, your conversion line looks like it flipped to support though.
it,
you
it
know?
did.
So,
It did. It is a little bit negative
yeah.
sloping. I'm going to try to show you a couple of
Yeah.
other time frames here too. I'm going to do the daily, and I can show you why I think those couple levels might still be interesting. So first of all, if you look at a daily chart, if you look at a cloud, it's the baseline or the Kijun right here is what is it? Yeah, 186, right there,
Wow. Yep.
186. Yeah, it's perfect. It's like almost perfect. It's yeah. So 188, 186 point, well, sorry, 168.84, right? So that's one confluence, right? I do think that there's going to be some resistance up here in 200. I'm going to show you a little bit as to why I think
Oh,
that
there'll be
is.
huge resistance at 200 because just the
Yeah,
psychological
yeah.
test alone.
A lot of people are going to get really bullish when it gets up there. And I do think that there's going to be some big move. We may not move down here right away. I think there's a potential that it can move up to 200 and to go down to like 168 and like really freak people out. You can see like the bottom of the cloud over here is also like right around 168 too, right? And I can also show you why I think like a big move is coming because the Bollinger Band is squeezing on the daily. Like it's like super squeezy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
something
ahead
big.
of a big move.
Yeah, something big's happening. It could be the shareholder vote, whatever. But the level of 168 is important, and I think the level of 200 is important, right? So that's one time frame. You look at the 2-day cloud. You can also see, the same thing, or 168.84, right? And the top of the cloud right here is, sorry, not the cloud. The bottom of the cloud right here is around like 204, but it would continue to go down, right? 202, 194. So somewhere up here is going to be pretty strong resistance on the 2-day. If you also look at the upper of the Bollinger Band here on the 2-day chart too, you can see like the top of the Bollinger Band is going to get up to like 200.
Yep.
Like in the upcoming week or two. So that's going to potentially serve as resistance. There's a lot of confluence at 200 that I think is going to get like rejected when everybody's like super bullish, and it can potentially go down to to 168 where you're kind of talking about. Now, again, I think these are just short-term volatility. I don't think there's anything significant, but it's just important. Like 200 is an important level, 168 is an important level. I'm going to show you a couple other time frames too on the weekly. If you go back to Ichimoku Cloud, where is the Tenkan 168.84? The conversion line.
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's why I bought a couple weeks ago because of that reason right there.
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah, you see the weekly, you see it all the time. Where's the bottom of the cloud? 201.97. So basically 200, right? So, and you also see like a little bit like a head and shoulder, like inverted head and shoulder pattern. Everybody's gonna look at it. Everybody's get all like really bullish, and then it might end up being like a rock pool. It will probably get pretty decent support down here. I still think it's probably gonna end up ranging sideways. The other thing too I want to show you is now that I'm in the weekly chart, I want to show you the bull market support band, which is basically just a combination of like the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA, right? So right now, we're actually kind of at resistance, if you will. But yeah, so I'm actually not sure what it's a little bit hard to say, but I still think that it might end up having the base because of how negative sloping this is. Like especially a 20-week moving average is still negative sloping. I think you probably need some time for you to have the basing, like the flattening of the 20-week moving average a little bit more, kind of like what happened over here. Like it didn't just go in a straight line because there's negative sloping. I have to go back and back test it down a little bit. So I think we probably end up like oscillating around here for quite some time because the boomerang support band is still pointing downwards. Like it's gonna take time for it to kind of flatten out and do its thing. Like this chart kind of reminds me of PayPal too, in terms of what it was doing. Like it was trying to flatten over here, and yeah, and it just takes time. Like this took like a few months. It's still not done yet. Like right now, it's just literally just turning it to support right here. So I think sorry, not that. So I think there's a possibility where you're really talking about some man, it's taking a while to load. So I think there's going to be needing some basing behavior here for at least maybe a couple months to flatten out the bull market support band. I think the top range is probably going to be 200. Bottom range is probably going to be 168. Is what I'm seeing.
It's almost like having the cheat codes to be able to just look to that
Yeah.
earlier part on the left and compare it to the right. It's like, oh, well, we just haven't gotten that part yet.
I also wanted to show you a couple other things too. Like the biggest problem I'm seeing right now is that everybody's gonna look at the head and shoulder, right? Like that's the
Right.
inverted head and shoulder, right? That's the shoulder, that's the head, and then it's gonna probably form a shoulder right here. Yeah, 200. I worry that it'll get rejected because all this stuff is running on like bearish divergence on balanced volume on RSI. Like right
Yeah.
now, if it goes up, like it's probably gonna get hit by some like bearish divergence over here. So it's probably not gonna be easy to break 200 for a lot of different reasons. I'm also
I
gonna
warn
show.
my, I'm sorry, I warn my followers all the time about it's like paracelia, I think it's called. It's that tendency
Paracelia.
for humans to like look at anything random and like be able to see human faces in it. They'll look at anything and say, oh, I see an eye, a nose, and a mouth. And I think people that do, new charters,
Yeah.
new people doing trading, look at the charts and say, oh, I see a head and shoulders pattern. You
Yeah.
look anywhere, you can find a head and shoulders pattern.
You
It's just so
can.
easy.
It might actually be like true, but because this is how the market makers might want to trick you,
Yeah.
and it might just make it look very, very much like head and shouldery. But yeah, on the 2 week, you're right, Matt. Like it flipped the Tenkin, from resistance to support. Right now it's like 172, but I bet it's probably going to end up maybe basing around like 160, 168. It's probably going to end up basing.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, because the weekly is at 168 still.
yep, exactly. So if you look at
Yeah.
so you look at a monthly, I'm going to pull the monthly here. Look at the levels, right? The Tenkin or the conversion line right here is like 208, right? And also if you look at another confluence area where I think 208 is also important. If you look at the bull market, not the Bollinger Band. You look at the monthly Bollinger Band is also at 208 on the 20-month moving average, right? So there's some confluence over here at 208 too. So I wonder if 208 is also going to be like maybe like a little bit of a wick, from 200 to 208, got rejected, go back down to 168, found support and go up. That's my thinking based on looking at what I'm looking at. I think that's pretty much all I have to share. So yeah, Matt, you want to take over? And
Yeah, I'll take over.
yeah, let me go ahead and stop sharing here. But yeah, like 168, seeing your Fibonacci level, seeing that that's where you're thinking, and also confirming that 200 is the psychological level, and looking at all these indicators, it makes me wonder. That's why I think both Matt and I, and also Tracker, we're all thinking that it's probably going to end up ranging here for a little while before going up.
Yeah.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, I can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay.
It seems like we got quite
So,
the short squeeze this morning or today.
Well, the short squeeze, in my opinion, is because the 8 and the 21 EMA, right? The 8 EMA held a support right here, and it just gravitated to the 21, which is currently going to be resistance, and that's why it didn't break through. But if it does close this week above, because it hasn't really closed a week above for a long time, since basically up here in January, right? Or late December. So if it does close this week above, it's probably not going to go back lower. It's probably going to gravitate towards that 200 where there is massive resistance, and then maybe it'll decide what to do. So this weekly candle close, in my opinion, is going to be really important. But as you can see, after hours today, it was like down over $1. So you can clearly see 186.37 over there. That is the resistance of the 21 EMA. So this will probably get rejected maybe tomorrow, but it's still a few more days left in the week to see if this can finally go up to 200 or not. So this is the line in the sand really for the weekly close. But as far as the GAN on linear scale here, it's just stuck in the middle of everything, right? So I'm not going to really use the linear scale too much, but I'm going to show you on log scale, like even more confluence why 200 is like really, really strong. And that is because of the log scale fib from the high of June 2017 to the low of June 2019. The 3.618 is 199.99 exactly.
Oof.
Right?
Holy crap.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So there's another added confluence of why this is massive resistance. And look at that, like the 3.618 is has been like floating up and down resistance support the whole time, and it's going to get resistance again, which lines up exactly with my blue line. Not a coincidence. And even the 4.236 from last cycle is 324. So like that's going to be the next massive resistance zone, 324 in the future. But yeah, so that's just added confluence. And then when you combine the Ichimoku, like you said, it's basically right there. All right. It's right there completely. And yeah, so there's really, and even the baseline is right up there too. Like there's nothing's gonna really break this level anytime soon, in my opinion. Like I'm gonna see how this week closes. If it closes above 186, 187, then it'll probably gravitate up to 200, but it'll probably get rejected and come back down. And we still haven't back tested this arc since we broke out, but it's a possibility. And if it did happen the following week, it would get down to like 160, like maybe 159 or so. But everything depends on this weekly candle close, in my opinion. So we'll see. But this is just more confluence why 200 is massive resistance. And the good thing that's happening though is like maybe over here where the cloud is thinner in like July or August or something, it could maybe try to break above there. But in the short term, the really short term, I don't see it going higher than 200 at all. And if people did buy down here at 168 like I did, I'll probably be taking some profits up here around 200. So yeah,
that's actually sort of where I've been telling my followers. I think that we will get a breakthrough later this year. Probably right about where you do have the thinning out in the Ichimoku clouds. And can you push just a little bit to the left? I just want to see a little bit more history to the left there. I'm starting to think that 4.236 fib extension you got up there, I'm predicting that price after it breaks out of my triangle will run up to $407, maybe around like maybe end of December, early January, and then it's going to come back down and test for support again. And I think that $324
that could be the support. Yeah,
I think that might be the support right there, the 324.31.
Well, it might do something similar to what it did here, break above, then came back down to retest that 2.618 and then go up higher and higher, right?
Yep, I think that's what we're going to see.
But
I'm surprised, like the first time I touched the 3.618 right here, it wasn't really resistance at all. I was
it's kind of doing this Bitcoin thing, you know, like just pass it through, and then next thing you know, it just oscillate around it. That's what it does. Do you guys think that we bottomed though?
Yes,
I do. Yes.
Yeah, I think all three of us.
138.80. That's fine. Because look, I mean, just look at that beautiful pattern.
Yeah,
it repeated it twice. It doesn't have to do it again.
Yeah.
And all I see really is it's going to be stuck in this range from the 3.618 over my blue line, and maybe backtest the arc wherever that would be down the road, right?
Yeah.
Could it even come back down right here? Yeah, I mean it could, like into the 140s again. Yeah, possibly, because the market structure is still bearish and there's massive amount of resistance up here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is 100% possible. But like, if we ever did break above this 4.236 and flip to support, then that's when this target is going to get hit up top to the 45-degree angle here, like the 1000s, the 2000s. That's when that's going to happen. So whenever that'll be, I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I'm
on linear.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I want to see linear. Please pull it up.
Yeah, on linear scale again, you can clearly see more resistance levels that you can't clearly see on log scale, because log scale is more exponential. But like this zone up here, if it ever got there in time, would be like June of 2000, which kind of actually June 17th is where this intersects. So that's basically the same time as the vote, which is kind of weird, right? So like, could it get up to 228 by the time, like this would be the week of the vote, right? So that is a possibility. But you can see clearly this blue angle is resistance, and this arc all the way from here has been resistance as well. So on linear scale, it really defines the shorter term resistance levels right here. And if it just waited until this arc and this angle met, that would be April of 2025. But I don't know if that would take that long, because Tesla is really volatile. So but you can clearly see how well linear scale predicted the top really with this
Yeah,
risk.
the bottom too
Like,
on both of them.
and
Like both
yeah,
bottoms. Actually. Yeah,
and when the 101 hit or something back there,
yeah,
it just hit this gray angle so perfectly.
yeah,
And the breakout here too, like it broke the red angle and then just took off.
yeah.
Like it's just amazing to see this kind of stuff in my opinion. I
Oh
get
yeah,
all
for sure.
excited like a
I'm in love with the GAN magic.
Yeah.
And also a rationale for it being the bottom on the 140s because it also touched the angle perfectly and balanced very strongly.
Right here,
So
yeah.
so we're probably gonna end up just stuck in the range. But the question is, where's the range? Is it like up here in the 220s, like you're saying? Is it 200 at a
Well, this
psychological level?
well,
It's
linear scale is telling us the range right here. It's
yeah,
like 228 down to maybe even 153 again, right?
yeah,
This is the
yeah,
range. So
yeah, yeah. The
yeah.
cloud may be giving a little bit more precise range. The Fibonacci level may be giving a little bit more precise range, but um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it could certainly wick down and touch it. I mean, it's not or yeah,
My tracker's triangle that I was predicting that once we did get off the bottom here,
yeah,
price would do a double tap. At least it would start with like 238 and then
hmm
maybe even as high as 250, 255.
yeah,
And then it absolutely just like dives down again to the bottom to the Tesla support side again.
yeah.
And then we could see maybe 150, maybe even my 143.89 target again.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
then it would
anything is
absolutely
possible.
launch off from there and head for 407.
Yeah, that would be a very strong double bottom, and that would actually bring a lot of like energy to push myself higher.
Yep.
Well, if you guys want, I can kick off NVIDIA now. Since the
Yeah,
earnings are
please
tomorrow,
do.
we can talk about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, please do. Yeah, and we'd like to talk NVIDIA. I mean, I just want to say like you guys are both traders. I'm like not doing any like day trading. I think anything underneath 200 is like a buy for me as far as I'm concerned.
But I don't really do any day trading anymore. It's more
Yeah.
like I buy support, I sell resistance. That's what I do. And however long that takes, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm in the same camp with Matt now. I used to do day trading, but now
Yeah.
I just like I do swing trading and
yeah. Because the level's gonna get hit. It doesn't matter. Just don't go crazy. You don't even
Yeah.
need charts all the time. Just set your limit orders, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a smart way to do it.
So yeah, that's why I bought Tesla down here, and then I bought it again on the retrace back to the AEMA here too. So yeah, just buying support
Yeah.
all the time and selling resistance. Well, so far I haven't sold yet, just because I like the chart. So we'll see.
Yeah,
But yeah, let's go move on to NVIDIA
do it.
here.
Let's do it.
Earnings tomorrow.
Let's do it.
So I'll start with a linear scale chart here. We'll make this a little bit bigger. I like the log scale chart a little better, I think, just because linear scale, you can't even see anything here. It's like nothing happened
I know.
Yeah.
down here. Right. But what you can see perfectly hit is this
Wow.
orange line. It hit perfectly, and then it went back down here, and it broke. This bullish engulfing candle just broke through both levels, right? The angle and the orange line. And that's why it didn't really look back. And you can see it just back tested that 45-degree angle perfectly, which really kind of means that there's going to be a magnet to price up here around 1,040, right? So this probably will be the target for earnings. Really, 1,040 is what I'm really thinking, because it already back tested this zone. It even hit the top arc again too, right?
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
So it's really saying this is going to be the target, maybe even these arcs up above.
Yeah.
But this is just for the shorter term. So if we go switch to log scale over here for NVIDIA.
Now let's look some crazy targets on the log scale.
Yeah. Well, log scale, I don't know if you guys saw my video I made like last year or something about like why NVIDIA is not going to go to 400, it's going to go to 700. And like, this is why it went to 720 because of this line. And you can see it did stall out there for a few weeks. I was expecting it to even come back and back test this really.
Yeah.
And that was going to buy more, but it never got to my level. So I never bought more. But just looking at log scale, you can see how perfect the 45-degree angle has held as a support level the whole time. Even the blue line going across was also a magnet for price. And back here during COVID, it almost even successfully back tested the 45 as well. But also that orange line down here in the past has always been a support level, really, right? So it's just beautiful how this log scale chart really looks, which really means ultimately it's an NVIDIA. Is it NVIDIA or an NVIDIA? I don't even know.
I don't know.
NVIDIA.
NVIDIA.
But NVIDIA, yeah, which ultimately I think the longer term target, since this line looks like it's flipped to support now, it's probably
Yeah.
going to be these dark, which will be 1500, maybe the
Yeah.
top arc maybe like 2000. And I don't know if it'll get higher than that, but if it does, if these get flipped, then it's going up here to like 9,142, right? So that's pretty large. I don't know
Yeah.
how long in the future that would happen, but if you also look at the Ichimoku for NVIDIA,
Yeah.
it's like 100% bullish, right?
Yeah.
There's really nothing bearish about this chart at all.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that it did close 1 week below that conversion line, but there's nothing bad. Like price has been under the lagging span line for a long time too. That's also very good. So honestly, there's nothing I can see bad about the earnings report. Like worst case, maybe it'll go back down and test like what the conversion line 861 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just see good things ahead, and especially looking at linear scale where it has shorter term targets here.
Yeah.
I really think it's going to be a magnet for price to go up to this 1040 level. So
Yeah.
that's going to be my target for earnings, really.
Not to
1040.
mention just the psychological importance of $1,000.
Yeah. But that's all I got to share on NVIDIA for earnings tomorrow. Do you guys, who wants to go
Yeah.
next?
Yeah, I mean, I can share my screen. I just have a couple of things to kind of say about it. I mean, I think the whole story to can you guys see my screen? Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole story is actually pretty simple. Like if I look at it, you just do it from like the cycle high over here to the cycle low, you just draw Fibonacci. It's like beautiful. Basically, it hits like 15618, stalled there for about half a year, and then broke through to 21618, which coincidentally was also your level, very similar to your level, Matt, like 732, close enough, right? And it hit the 3.618.
Yeah.
Initially I thought, hey, maybe it could also come down our way and like maybe hit the 2.618 level, before going up. It didn't end up doing that. So right now it is at resistance. I don't know what it's going to do with earnings. I'm always a little bit cautioned when it's at resistance. Maybe it just bounced up to like 970, or maybe it wakes up a little bit above it. I'm not sure it's necessarily going to break through this time. You never know, right? Eventually it can still consolidate down here for a little bit longer before going up higher. But with that said, there's a lot of buying pressure. And if you just look at a few things, like if you just look at the monthly Ichimoku cloud, basically on a bull market, it rides the conversion line up, right? Like you use it as support to bounce up, right? I think we just got way too far, way too fast over here back in March, and it went up to like almost 4 figures, and it's just way far away from the conversion line. It just got punished, like over here, same thing. Like why didn't it just keep going higher? Like the earning reports were excellent, right? Well, it's way too far from the conversion line down here. It had to cool down, had to wait for the conversion line to come up or price to go down, end up doing both. Wait for it to come up, serve support, push it higher, right? Now we're a little bit too far ahead. I'm still wondering if it needs to wait for the conversion line to go up a little bit faster. And it might take another couple of months to do that because these two candles over here are still being calculated, for the conversion line. And so is this, right? The bottom right here. So I wonder if it needs another couple of months before the conversion lines they would kind of push price up higher. That's one possibility. But as NVIDIA, I can also just do one of these things, just keeps going up higher and then drag the conversion line up together with it. I don't know what exactly it's going to do. But I do think that things are still maybe a little bit overextended, but they can stay overbought for a long time. I guess I just said nothing. But Bollinger Band, same reason why we cool down, because like over here on the monthly Bollinger Band, it closed above the monthly Bollinger Band over here in the past, like 4 months in a row, right? Like you need to cool down at a key resistance level here, 1.618 fit level. And it cooled down, and then the upper Bollinger Band kept on expanding, and it kept on serving as a magnet. And it just keeps on, dragging the price up along with it. And sure enough, you have like two other months. It's just way outside upper Bollinger Band, so you need to cool down, right? Right now, actually, the upper Bollinger Band is serving as a magnet right now. So it's 952, and the price is 953. So I don't know. I think it's ready to push up based on Bollinger Band. I just don't know about the conversion line in Ichimoku Cloud, but I think it's cooled down enough that it could keep pushing higher from earnings. But it's interesting seeing these things too. Another thing also I want to show, I think it might end up pushing higher, is if you look at the bull market support band, it might simply just be waiting for the bull market support band to push up. like it just got way too far extended, got hit by a fib level, got rejected, and it's just, you know, trying to find some support down, got close to it, couldn't really quite touch it. That's the thing. Like I think the stock is so strong that it couldn't even touch 2.618. It couldn't even touch your like 720 level. It couldn't even touch the bull market support band. Like they wanted to try here, like they really wanted to try, but they just couldn't do it. And then on top of that, like on the
Got bought
weekly
up too
too,
hard.
yeah, they try and they try to hit the Kijun down here, right? They couldn't do it. It's just like, okay, this is it, you know. Let's go up V shape, like everything get bought up. So I think there's a possibility earnings would keep pushing up higher. The only thing I wasn't sure about is the monthly Ichimoku cloud. Like it's just still a little bit, you know, far from the Tenkan or the conversion line. But like again, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you can still push up a lot higher away from it. You just have to get punished for it later, you know. So same thing like over here, like you can just keep pushing. You just end up getting punished for it later, you know. So that's kind of what I'm seeing with that. I do worry a little bit in terms of, but again, these are just small worries. I don't think it really matters. I do worry like price to go up, you know, slightly over the last 3 months, and you do have a little bit of a bearish divergence over here on our side, but price can keep going up on bearish divergence. Like that doesn't really bother me. Overall, I think it's cool down enough. It probably can go higher, but this is the only reservation that I have. So, questions? Nothing? Still there? No?
Yeah, I'm still here. That looks great, Cat.
Yeah. Yeah. Tracker, what do you
Yeah,
think?
no questions.
I
No
don't really have anything else
questions.
to add to it. I agree with you. It's either I don't see it like coming down at all. I
Yeah.
see it maybe either you get the breakthrough, or maybe it just kind of goes sideways for a little while,
That's what it
and then
does.
finally does break up the top before.
That's
Um,
yeah. That's NVDA. That's what it does. Like when it's way
yeah.
overextended, it just goes sideways. Like it doesn't. That's the personality for a stock. So, and it already went sideways over here for like half a year. So I don't think it has to go sideways here for another half a year. Like over here, it went sideways for like 8 months. We
Mhm.
already did that, you know. So I think this is like going to be the more impulsive part of the cycle. I don't even know, Track, do you think that this could also fit like an elite wave one, you know, or I don't know.
So back up just a little bit more to the left of the screen. Uh,
How much further?
I'm almost inclined to start. Either I do like a full all the way back to the history and start and drop a zero there, or no, I kind of like, you know, the March 2019 is usually has been a good place to start.
Yeah.
Elliott waves a lot, so yeah, just probably from right there. Go back to like the March 2019 low,
Yep. Right
and
there.
then just that would be like your
Orange,
zero.
right there. Yep.
You know,
So
it's kind of crazy
so
right now.
this could be wave three. This could
Exactly. That could be your 1, 2, and then this could be the strongest, longest wave.
Holy crap. Okay. Yeah, Tracker, if you have a chance, if you want to look at it and tell us what you think, that'd be great.
And then, like, one last thing I would say is just that if we did get a big correction, I'm not saying we're going to, but if we got a big correction from up here,
Yeah.
in the, you know, we hit 1,000 and it comes down to the 618
Yeah.
of 250, it's not going to go 255. But like if it came to like the 100%, it like really came down, that
Yeah.
whole thing, I would call that like a decadal 1-2. And like, and then everything where it went in 2021
Yeah.
up to 346 and then back down to 108.
Yeah.
Like that would be just be an AB on the way to the 1-2.
Like I see what you're saying. I don't
Yeah.
think it's going to happen there, but if it happens, the 20-minute moving average is going to push price up higher. I don't think it's going to happen. There's one more thing I want to show that I forgot to show.
But you're probably right. This was probably more like a wave 3, because
That would
even
be
if it came,
amazing.
if it came back down,
Yeah.
and it didn't get any lower than the 1618,
Yeah.
then that's, you've got a whole fib between your wave 1 top and your wave 4 bottom.
Yeah. So So
Yeah.
I would be interested. Yeah, draw it out if you can share it with us. That would be great. Like you don't have to do it right
Sure.
now, but
Oh
um,
yeah.
but the thing is, I don't think it's going to go that low. The reason why is if that does, I actually do think that might end up doing a lot more structural damage, and the trend is just way too strong for that to happen.
Yeah.
One reason why I say that is you like this is a monthly chart, right? If you look at the Bollinger Band, this is what it does. Like you don't even have to worry about it
They just
necessarily. You don't have to worry about the trend exhausting because the Bollinger Band, like the lower Bollinger Band, is like all the way down to the floor. It's like in the negatives, you know.
yeah.
I don't think you really have to worry about the trend exhausting until the Bollinger Band comes back. Like over here, like you don't really have to like even here, like oh, is it the top? Is it the top? Well, the Bollinger Band's not back yet. You know,
Yeah.
it's not exhausted yet. So up here, getting closer. Okay, so here you should start to be worried. Here you should start to be worried because the Bollinger Band is coming back, right? So and sure enough, like it got exhausted. The Bollinger Band ended up, you know, getting pulled together again, right? Um, I guess same thing here. You know, it went down, didn't go down all the way, but as it starts to come out, like you know, the trend is starting to get exhausted, right? Right now, I think like the trend is just so bullish, like the Bollinger is all the way down here. I'm not really convinced that there's going to be like a drastic move down or anything like that.
Yeah.
Even if
Just
there
because,
is,
if I may, like even because
yeah,
you can't even see the right side of the Bollinger support band
yeah,
coming up yet.
it's all the way like it's all the way here.
It looks like this is going to run for another,
Another year or two, potentially.
yeah, two more years, I'd say, and then
Yeah,
by then it'd be
yeah.
like NVIDIA 4000 or something.
Yeah, possible. Yeah, and especially if this is wave three.
I'd like to just take a second to say, I followed. I don't know if you've have heard of Avi Gilbert and ElliotWaveTraders.net, um, but he's been tracking the SPY and stuff since inception, and he's been long worried about a centennial correction, like
Yeah,
another, it's 100 years after the 1930s Great Depression. He thinks
yeah,
it might come full swing again, and we get
yeah.
another 2030s Great Depression.
You Elliott wave guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it, no,
But
I don't
let me
have
tell you, I
that.
kind of broke away with him on that idea
Yeah.
because I think there's this thing called thresholds of complexity. I don't know if you ever saw that TED talk about the Big History Project, but basically the universe
6 months.
builds on itself and it reaches this level, it reaches this threshold of complexity that once you pass through it, there's no going back to it.
Yeah.
So like once you have the Big Bang, there's no
Yeah.
going back to the singularity. You've got all the energy in the universe is out there and it's spreading rapidly and cooling.
Yeah.
And once you have the planets, you don't really go back to having energy again. You've got the cooled planets and the stars.
Yeah.
I kind of skipped the stars, but
I
and then
mean,
you have like life growing up on rocky planets. You don't go back to like a rocky planet with no life. Life is just so tenacious.
yeah.
And then we got humans, and then agriculture, and writing, and computers, and now I think AI really is the next threshold of complexity.
Yeah.
We're kind of there. Once we pass through that, we don't go back to a civilization or time
No. Uh,
before
un-
AI.
unless if the
Whoa.
United States of America like collapses, yeah, I don't think it's
Even
gonna happen.
it won't
Yeah.
really I mean, if the federal government collapses, we just fall back to nation states again. And we look more like Europe, which we've
So,
never looked like Europe really
yeah. So
since the colonies.
it's interesting. The inception of S&P 500 is like right after Civil War, right? But anyway, I can like there are a lot of people who just early wave says like, oh, this is wave one, you know, maybe wave two down here somehow, wave
Right.
three, wave four, and then like you know like a sideways kind of like flat kind of thing, and then like this is wave five, and when it ends, it's gonna have like A, B, C, you know, like,
Exactly. Oh, it's the
like
end of the world. But no, I think artificial intelligence is, we hit the computer age in the 60s, and then it really hit its stride through the 90s. I think the AI is going to transform our society,
yeah,
and it will just make um, every human will be either
yeah,
more productive, or we won't even need humans for production anymore. You've got autonomous humanoid robots doing all the heavy lifting and stuff for us, and we just kind of sit back and we let them,
Yeah.
cultivate all the crops for us and
Yeah.
cook our meals. And
That's why we let Matt draw the Gantt square and all the curves, because things
Well,
just keep
yeah.
going up to the right.
It's basically like everything's going so perfectly according to Gann, and you guys should really study it more because he was really big into astrology as well. So whatever you're talking about just now, it really relates to that. But yeah, it's just really, really, really interesting how these levels work, and like
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
Yeah, and like NVIDIA and Tesla is going to be like in the forefront of this. I don't really see any. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about fundamentals, but it's, yeah, I mean, I think these are going to be like really big players for the next like 10, 20 years, maybe.
Yep.
So
I see
Sorry,
Tesla as just
yeah,
sort
it's
of being like this. It just
Yeah.
ascends from this century into the next.
yeah, guys, this has been fun. I think I might have to call it a night.
No, thank you so much for inviting us, Kat.
Nah,
it's been
this
great.
has been great. I enjoyed talking with you guys. I hope other people will too. We'll see if we can. If we can do this again, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll
Yeah.
we'll hit it a few more times, and we'll hit our stride and how we structure these,
Yeah.
and maybe it could turn into a podcast or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Or
Maybe
maybe
else.
with yeah. Maybe like Matt, like you said, like maybe start a new YouTube channel or something like that too.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you,
I'm all
everybody.
for it.
Thanks so much for
All right,
watching our little show here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye.
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 Bye.